Hi, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm going to do a quick introduction. My name is Ava. I am 19 years old. I have been modeling my entire life since I was 3 years old. I was a baby model. People are always asking me about how I got into modeling, how I have modeled for all of these different brands. The brands I've modeled for include Hollister, Nike, Adidas, Target, and more. And today I'm just going to get into the basics on how I started modeling and how you can start as well. I feel like the story on how I got into modeling is pretty unique because I said I was 3. I was either 2 or 3 years old. I think I was 2 actually. Everyone would tell my parents that they should get me into modeling, they should do this and, have me be a baby model. And they didn't really know too much about that. Their work is in like a different field. So they didn't really know how to go about it, but they saw there was a baby modeling competition where you just show up and there's like a professional photo shoot and they take your pictures, and then I ended up getting first runner-up on the competition. And because of that, I was able to get a meeting with a modeling agency in the cities. And it's really interesting to think about because I don't think, if it wasn't for that competition, I don't think I would have started at least that young. Now, I feel like my story is pretty niche, so I'm going to give you all some of the other options and ways people go about getting into an agency. One of the main ways you'll hear people talking about is getting scouted. Now, getting scouted can look like different things. I feel like in this day and age, people are getting scouted more on social media, more when by hashtags, the agents scrolling on social media and looking for new faces. But before, you would always hear stories about people getting scouted in the malls and the stores and just being out in public downtown. And I know that still exists, but I feel like that's a thing more if you live in a major city where there are agents who are just happen to be out and about, But if you live in the middle of nowhere, I would not rely on just someone walking up to you. You know what I mean? I feel like you have to just take matters into your own hands and get photos done, get professional photos done. Find the agencies in your area. Make sure you're finding good agencies and submit your photos. There are so many different markets for modeling. And there's people who model solely their hands. There's hand modeling, there's fitness modeling, there's commercial modeling, there's runway modeling. And those are just to name a few. Now for me, I'm a shorter model. That's one thing people ask me about pretty often is how I model when I'm so short. I feel like it's a misconception. I know for the runway models, you see them and almost all of them are tall. But for the type of modeling I do a lot of print and commercial, and you don't need to be tall for that. If you're someone who is like me, a shorter model, if you're someone who doesn't live in a big city, I would not let that hinder you at all or prevent you from putting yourself out there. As a short model, it makes me so sad when I hear people say, oh, I want to model but I'm too short. No, you're not too short. You can do it. Here are some tips on how to get an agency. I would recommend getting some really good headshots. Find a good photographer in your area, especially if you're submitting to an agency that is a bigger agency or is getting tons and tons of applications, which most of them are. I think having a good headshot will really help you stand out. A lot of girls start with a mother agency. If you don't know what a mother agency is, that is an agency where they're typically a smaller agency and they'll help you with different things like getting your photos done and getting you started, and then they'll submit you to some of the bigger agencies. A lot of the ways to apply for the agencies are typically on the agency's website. Research the companies the agency has worked with. That's a really helpful tip. If there are certain companies that you've always wanted to work with or you've always wanted to work for, getting with that agency can be another step closer. Another tip in regards to agencies and just modeling in general, don't take anything personally. If you get rejected from an agency, oftentimes it might be because they already have a model who looks so similar to you. And if you're in an agency and there's so many models who look exactly like you might not get as much work just because of how much competition there is. Once you do get signed, you'll start to build your portfolio and put together a ton of pictures showcasing different areas of your work. For example, I enjoy all the different types, Like, I love fashion, I love fitness. I have so many different shoots that show me in different lights, you know? I've taken headshots where it's literally just my face. I've taken headshots where I'm in athletic wear, where I'm in jeans and a tank top, all different types of shoots, which shows the type of work that I can do. Some tips on building your portfolio is to understand your niche, figure out what you want your niche to be. It can be a variety of things, or you can focus on one thing. For me, I fit into fashion and commercial pretty well. For a lot of the looks on my portfolio, I have casual style, I have a lot of different ones in the studio, I have lifestyle, as well as close-up. I have photos from all different angles on my portfolio, and make sure you're staying updated with it as well. Make sure your photos aren't from years ago where you don't even look like that anymore. Make sure you're keeping up with it. Now I'm going to get into some of the different companies I've modeled for and what the process was like. The first company I'm going to talk about is Target, because I have modeled for Target at least 40 times throughout my life. I have done print work for them. I've been on their website. I've been in their stores. I've been on the catalogs that come in the mail. I have modeled for them by attending casting calls and auditioning there. I have also modeled for them by my agency submitting my photos to them, and they selected me solely based off of the pictures. It depends on the job on whether or not I go in for an in-person casting call or if they just select my pictures, but all of the different ways are through my agency. Target is definitely one of my favorite companies I've modeled for. It's so cool to like go into the store, and like Target's my go-to store for like anything, like for like groceries, just for everything in general. And it's really cool just to go into the store and then like you're shopping and then you look to your left and you're like, oh, that's me. Another company I've really enjoyed modeling for is Hollister. I modeled for Hollister in California, which was really cool. I got to model for their website, in stores, and social media, which was really cool because oftentimes, you know, when you book a job, you're modeling kind of just for like one section. Like a lot of my other jobs I booked were like solely in stores, you know, but for Hollister it was literally everything, which was really cool. It was really cool because we also did in the studio and we did out and about, like outside, which really made it fun and editorial and artsy. Another company I recently modeled for is Adidas. I love Adidas. It was really fun to do a fitness shoot. I feel like I often do, like I said before, editorial and commercial, but this time I got to do fitness, which was really fun. Adidas has also been a dream company of mine to model for a long time. It was a 2-day shoot and it was downtown. I got to wear all types of athletic wear. I was wearing leggings and like a pullover hoodie and Adidas shoes. All Adidas too, of course. It was a really fun shoot, and my work isn't out yet, but I'm really excited to see it when it comes out. It's always such a cool feeling when you get to model for a company that you have loved for so long. Some of the places I've modeled for include, of course, LA, Minneapolis, Chicago, Florida, New York, Atlanta, and I've been able to be so blessed to go to all these different places solely for modeling and work, which has been a really cool experience. That is another huge plus of modeling. There you have it. That is how I got into modeling and all of my different tips on how you can get into modeling as well. Make sure you are following my Instagram, Ava Justin, for all of my modeling work and to keep up with me. Have a great day.